All right, let's see what happens. This is it. Something's gonna happen in this video. Something's gonna happen with that motor. No matter what, she's gonna make some noise. Hopefully it's good and you know, no metal on metal, but we'll see soon. So what we got left to do is get the hot side bolted on, intake manifold, hook up the fuel lines. I'm gonna drop the push rods in, tighten down the rockers, some other little things here and there, run the plug wires, and we're gonna fire this thing off. So let's knock some of these things out and we'll load the startup tune and go from there. Let's just start getting the, you know, basically the rest of the motor assembled and we'll be good to go. All right, guys, we just got the rockers in, torqued down, 22 foot-pounds. I actually still use the old Haynes repair manual. I went down to the local AutoZone when I was 18 years old back in, no, 17 years old back in 2007 to fix the head gasket issue that I had on my 95 Camaro. And the LS motor, all the torque specs, almost everything is exactly the same. I use this book for everything, the truck motors. You know, that's one of the great things about the LS motors. All these things have been the same for 20 years. So I still keep this around the garage, still comes in useful when, you know, getting the torque sequence right. But up next, so we got the hot side all back on, oil lines on, well, feed lines on, water lines on, vacuum filled the coolant system. Everything appears to be hooked up. So I think the next thing I'm gonna do is, since we've taken the fuel system apart and put it back together, I think I'm gonna prime the fuel system, double check there's no leaks. We gotta load the startup tune and then give everything a final once over, and then I think we can hit the key. So let's take care of those things and then start this thing up. Let's do that one more time. Don't see any fuel pressure yet. Did hear the fuel pump prime though. All right, now we got some fuel pressure. No leaks that I can see or smell. Cool. All right, let's load that startup tune. All right, we're just loading the startup tune. Should be done here shortly. All right, guys, we got all our scanner hooked up here. Channels configured. Pre-start shakes. All right, let's see what happens.
One eternity later.
She runs. No major issues, no bad noises, no pistons crashing into valves, no fires yet. Yeah, no major problems, but I kind of cut the last video short a little bit just because the car was running really rich. May or may not have been a big deal, I'm not really sure, but I didn't want to risk it, so I ended up sending some data to my tuner. Went back and forth with a couple of updates. Still was running a little rich, so I ultimately made the call to swap out the big old Bosch 210s that I had in there for, if you can see the box. So those are Bosch 200 or 2200 cc injectors for some ID 1300 cc injectors. Basically with the scaling and the stock ECU, it's really difficult to get those things to idle without a lot of fine tuning, and you know, back and forth with my tuner was a little slow, so I just decided to, you know, for now go with a smaller injector. If a year down the road or whatever I want to make 1500 horsepower, I can still use those Bosch 210s, but for now these should be a little bit easier to remote tune until I can get the motor broken in, make sure the clutch works, see what leaks, what doesn't. So got the new injectors in, also put in the ZR1 map sensor, which is 3 bars, so that'll allow us to go up to, you know, about 28, 29 PSI, which is probably way past what we'll be doing. So take two. Let's check for leaks one more time on the fuel system and then fire this thing up. I already flashed the updated tune for the injectors and the map sensor, and we'll see if this thing runs any better. All right, starting the log, clutch in, here we go. far this looks much better. Our air-fuel ratio is almost at 1.0 lambda, which is exactly what we want. Fuel pressure's, or oil pressure's good, no weird noises. Holding the RPMs at 2,000. That's what my engine builder told me to do for some break-in, at least for this first start here. Everything looks good so far. Success. Whew. It's hot, smoky as a motherfucker in here, but man, I guess all she really needed was an $1,800 set of injectors. I mean, lambdas were pretty much perfect. I don't see any major leaks. We got up to operating temperature, and then thermostat opened up, it cooled back down. I'm calling that a win. Car sounds awesome. Turbos sound amazing. Everything sounds good. Everything sounds healthy. So I think we'll give it a once-over. And then we got to drop this thing down and take it for a drive and really start to break this motor in. You probably noticed there I tested the clutch. First gear and reverse gear work. I don't see why, all the other gears wouldn't work. Nothing else in the transmission change, and engagement feels good. So yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Long time coming on this one. So, thank you guys who have been here since the start of this build. Hope you guys are enjoying this. But next one, get this thing on the ground, take it for a little drive. Got the cold side to finish weld, a couple other little things, and then we can pretty much call this thing done-ish until we figure out, what issues it has, which is going to take some driving and eventually dyno tune. But that's going to do it for this one. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.